Galloway's presents Tech Talk at 3 with Lauren Moran, Orcam Technologies. Hello everyone and welcome to Tech Talk at 3. It's Andrew here, your Assistive Tech Coordinator, and I'm really pleased today to be joined by Lauren Moran, who is joining us from Orcam Technologies. How are you doing, Lauren?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good, excited to be here.
Absolutely. I think it's the first time that you've been on the famous Tech Talk at 3, so welcome. And tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Orcam.
Okay, so first of all then, so for those of you who have never heard of Orcam before, we'll start from the very beginning. So we provide assistive technology for people who are blind, visually impaired, or have reading difficulties such as dyslexia or even just reading fatigue. We've got a couple of products out on the market as it stands. Some of them you may have tried, you may have tested, you may have. But today I'm going to be talking to you about one of our newest products, which we actually only just launched in March this year. So we actually launched it at the very beginning of lockdown of COVID-19. So as you can imagine, there's been a lot of online demonstrations, online training sessions happening. But today I'll be talking to you a bit more about Orcam in detail. So I'll tell you a bit about the company, the background, and then we'll go through the device as well. So I'm going to explain to you all the different features on the device, and then we're going to be doing a bit of a live demonstration using my very trusty Mary Berry's Baking Bible.
Which you know what you've been doing then in lockdown, yeah?
Well, I'd say more attempting, to be honest. But we've got to start somewhere. So,
and just so people know, obviously you are the new sales representative in our area now. For those of you that used to speak to Nigel in the past, we've now got Lauren.
So I'm based in Manchester. So yeah, I am currently locked down. As you're probably all aware. So in Orcam UK now, we've got four of us here, all based. So I'm in the north. We've got Tony, who's down in the south, Ian up in Scotland, who some of you might have come across before, and we've got Rakesh, who works in our London office. So that's the kind of structure in the UK. Yeah.
Excellent. So fairly new to Orcam, but I suppose you've had to get up to speed with the history and the development of the product and everything that goes with it, because it's quite a niche product, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and the technology behind it. I mean, the one that I'm showing you today is probably our simplistic product on the market, so it's a little bit easier to demonstrate over video. And talk you through it. But yes, some of the products that you may have seen previously, such as the Orcam My Eye, that is a little bit more technical. There's quite a few features in there, so it is much better with that one, with a sort of one-to-one demonstration. But yeah, so it's been as we all have, it's been a crazy few months. So I started back in November last year, so nearly been here 1 year, but it's great. The technology, and when you're explaining the product to people, it's just, their reactions are just fantastic. I mean, it's difficult to get over video call, but hopefully in the future, when we can, then we can come down and do some sort of demonstration days and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a fast-paced couple of months, obviously releasing a new product as well, but it's been good, as like everybody has. We've had to adjust, we've had to move online, and to be honest, it's sometimes it's quite nice, isn't it, not to have that crazy commute in the morning and and that kind of stuff. So
absolutely, because we got lots of people on today from different areas of Lancashire and also Sefton, so we can bring them all into one place at one time rather than you having to go to all the different centres. So there's an advantage of that. But some people might not be aware of kind of like Orcam's now been around, as far as I know. It's probably been around for about 6 years now, hasn't it? It's got quite a detailed kind of history over that 6 years of bringing out various different products that offer that text to speech AI technology. It's really developed, would you say, over them 6 years?
Yeah, absolutely. So to give you a bit of a background into Orcam, we are an Israeli-based company. So our head office is over in Jerusalem, in Israel, and that's where our R&D team sits. So that's where they obviously make all the products. That's where our management team sits. So we were founded by the two co-founders of Mobileye. I won't try and pronounce their names, but we were actually founded in 2010, so we've actually been around 10 years. It's our 10-year anniversary this year, and that's due to happen in September. Obviously, given the situation, perhaps we can't have as much of a celebration as we maybe would have done, but still, like you said, over the past 10 years, the company's developed so much. So a couple of just key facts about it, just so you guys are aware. So as I say, we're a global company. We're now in over 40 different countries, and the devices that we have are now able to speak over 25 different languages. So a lot of the devices we have do have multiple languages included. So for example, an English device would typically have French and Spanish included, but you can request, specific devices if needs be, with specific languages in. Now, we've actually been in the UK for 5 years. So we started in the UK, obviously from nothing. So we came over here following the US team. So it was from what I've heard, it was obviously a tricky couple of years at the very beginning, but we quickly sort of found our feet, and we've now got thousands of users in the UK. We are constantly developing our products, as you can imagine. The R&D team actually makes up 80% of the company. So we talk about, Andrew was saying there about myself being like a sales representative. So we have boots on the ground, if you like. However, we work through companies. So we establish really good relationships with companies, and that's how we work. So with the likes of Galloway's, with Vision Aid, who some of you might have heard of. But yes, we've been in 5 years now. We are obviously expanding, as you can imagine, which is great news. But so much has changed. I mean, even since I've been here, so much has changed in the last, what are we on, 9 months? And so I can only imagine what's happened in the last sort of 10 years. We brought out the flagship product that some of you might have heard of, the My Eye. We brought that out in 2017 in the UK, and then we've kind of developed that version as well. So, it's gone a bit more portable, it's gone a bit more technology involved, more features involved, and then now we've brought out the handheld, the Orcam Read, which is the one that I'll be showing you today.
I was just going to say, Lauren,
yeah.
I going back to 2015, I remember when I first saw Orcam before it even came into the UK, because it was on an American kind of chat show where I think a lady was talking about how it had changed her life, how she was able to go out, read menus, and recognize people, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I really need to try this. As soon as it comes over, it was completely revolutionary then, and I suppose now that it was completely revolutionary then, it still is now, but obviously you have to keep developing that product, and we've seen that over the years. But I'm lucky enough myself to have gone through that whole journey with Orcam, through all the products, to see how it's developed over the years, and it really has developed so much over that 5-6 years that it's been around for.
And it's exactly that. It's because we were essentially ahead of the game at the beginning, so it's how, as a company, how do you keep being ahead of the game? So as people are perhaps trying to catch up with the technology, we're constantly sort of trying to move ahead. So it's obviously, you've seen it with some of the new features, and I'll answer some questions on those as well. But there are constantly things going on in the R&D team. They're trying out new things. We did a pilot of a product at the CES convention this year, before obviously we went into lockdown, and again we piloted a completely different product that's just completely different, and everybody's starts asking, well, when's that going to be available? But it does take years to come up with these products sometimes, just with the technology that's involved in it. But it is, I mean, we say it and it sounds cheesy, I'll be honest, but it's not. It does change people's lives, and you see it for yourself. So To give you an idea, last year we actually we were part of the Times 100 Best Inventions, which was an absolute that was fantastic for Orcam. That was really good. And yeah, just as you said, Andrew, just the amount that's changed over the past couple of years, even in the UK. We did actually demonstrate it to Prince William. This was a few years ago, but when he went over to Israel, should I say, we demonstrated to him then. So I think our job in the UK is just to make people aware of the technology that's out there, that there is this available. And if people haven't heard of it, they don't know about us, they just don't know it's available. So for us, it's about, giving people that opportunity to try the device and see it working and, hear it speaking to you and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
And I think so. I think for the benefit of some of the people that will be on today that might not be aware of the technology, before you obviously do a bit of a demonstration of the Orcam Read, just tell us a little bit about the AI technology and the range of the text to speech capture that all these devices offer.
Absolutely. So the way that the devices work, and I'm talking quite broad here because I'm talking about the My Eye, which is the one that attaches onto the side of the pair of glasses, and I'm also talking about the handheld, the Orcam Read. So both devices include a smart camera at one end of the device, and on the other end there is a speaker. So if we quickly chat about the My Eye, and then I'll go into a bit more detail with the Orcam Read.
Brilliant. No problem.
So the My Eye, it attaches onto the side of a pair of glasses. Now we include a blank pair of glasses in with the product. So if you perhaps don't wear glasses, then obviously you can use these. If you do have your own sets of glasses and you might have multiple glasses, you can. It's a bracket basically that you just pop onto the side of your glasses, and it's all done magnetic. So you can leave the bracket on the glasses because it's quite discreet. You can't see it. You can attach the bracket onto numerous different. You can have one bracket on 4 different sets of glasses.
Maybe your sunglasses. You go out and you got your sunglasses on. You want your
exactly.
Orcam.
Yeah. People have reading glasses. They might have everyday glasses. So just have a bracket on each one of them. So whenever you're ready, you sit down to read a book. You pick up your reading glasses and it's already on. You just attach. Using a magnet, it just attaches onto the side. So the Orcam My Eye, the features, so the artificial intelligence features that we talk about, and it sounds a little bit scary when you say artificial intelligence, but it's not. It's just very, very clever. So one of the main artificial intelligence is the facial recognition. So the way that the device works with facial recognition is you actually set somebody up into this device. So somebody would stand in front of you, you would simply tap the side of the device and it would say there is a male stood in front of you. Okay,
please ask for their permission first as well. We just got to make sure you mind if I take a picture of you.
Please do. Well, they've got to stand still for 30 seconds, so I'm hoping at this point you'll know them. And you're wanting to program them in, usually say family and friends, postman, the milkman, whoever it might be. It can work as a bit of a security thing as well. A lot of family and friends will say, well, put the postman in it, so when you enter the door, and it will tell you that the postman stood in front of you. So you program the faces into the device, and then once they're actually programmed into it, okay, you don't need to do anything else. But the next time you look at that person, so this could be the next day, this could be 3 weeks down the line, it will actually say to you who that person is that's in front of you. So it's fantastic technology. It really is. That's not the only feature that's on it. There's reading features on it, whereby you've got automatic reading feature. The minute you put any piece of text in front of it, and if you imagine where it is, it's just in line with your eyes. So actually, when you're reading a book, you don't need to change the way that you're doing anything. You would literally just hold the book as you usually would, and the device will pick it up. So the device will just read anything that's in front of you. You can point to text, and the device will recognize a finger gesture. Okay, and again, it will start reading from where your finger is. So if you're revisiting something, you want to start halfway down a page, simply position your finger where you want the device to read and it will. And you've got a manual mode whereby when you're ready for the device to read, simply tap the side and it will read exactly what's in front of you.
So three different ways there of getting it
absolutely,
to action the
yeah.
reader. I've got to say the actual auto page recognition was a real game changer when that came, because that wasn't available at first, not for a
No,
couple of years. So when that came out, that was a real game changer, especially for those people that, you know, they're not comfortable, or they haven't got that alignment with their
yeah,
eyes
of
and their hands, you know, to
course.
be able to do that. So I think that opened it up to a lot more people when that came in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So there's also other features on there, such as colour detection. So if you've got a wall in front of you, for example, you want to see what colour that wall is, you simply press and hold your finger against the wall, just leave it on for a couple of seconds, take your finger away, and it'll tell you what area it is. So it might say, so in this, for example, it would say white area. It's got banknote recognition, so you could put a 5, 10 or 20 pound note in front of the device, upside down, inside out, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. So just, I suppose, I mean, the example of that is obviously if usually you might have to ask somebody to identify banknotes. With this, you could look at it straight away and it will tell you exactly what it was. You can actually set products into it, so it's got a barcode recognition. So if you're somebody like me who literally buys the same thing from the supermarket every single week, then you can set up barcodes. So the minute you look at a barcode, it'll tell you exactly what the product is. It will tell you a bit about maybe how many grams is in it. So you know for a fact what it is that you're picking out of the shelf, or what it is that you're picking out of your cupboard. If you're also like me who shops at Aldi or Lidl, then there are obviously only certain barcodes, and they're usually the mainstream barcodes that are set up into the device. So you can actually put your own barcodes into it. So for the likes of me that maybe buys a bit more own brands, you can schedule your own into it, so you don't have to rely on it being Heinz beans, for example. So very, very clever technology.
You might need a little bit of sight assist. Maybe if you were a friend or family member, you say, right, that's the beans, that's whatever, then you can program that in. A little bit like what some of you might do with your pen friend, if anyone's got a pen friend from RNIB, which is like a barcode scanner. This is also available, a similar type of thing available with your Orcam as well. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Definitely, yeah. So I've just seen a comment come up there about the barcodes. Yeah, exactly that. I mean, obviously we if we set up every single barcode that was available in the UK from every single supermarket, it would take us years, and it would be down to us here in the UK to do that. So we would obviously need to take pictures of all the barcodes and everything. Not that we wouldn't do it, of course we would, but it just there's perhaps other things that we could be working on, especially as you can just program them in yourself. It makes things much easier.
I think you'd also probably run out of space on the memory of the device if you had every single barcode ever.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So that's really the idea. Now, the probably the most important feature about any of Orcam devices, and you will hear anybody from Orcam say this, because to us this is really, really important, but it's the fact that every single one of our devices is completely standalone offline. So what that means is you do not need to connect to any kind of internet or Wi-Fi or anything like that in order for any of the devices to work. That just means that you can use them whenever and wherever you are. And there's two ways of looking at this. So people say to us, you know, how can you connect it to a laptop, for example? Or can you connect it to the computer and you can take stuff off the Orcam and put it onto the computer? No, you can't. Everything that's in that device is staying in that device. But what we say is what's more important to us is the security reasons and the privacy reasons. So one of our biggest customers in the UK is a large bank, and they use it for their employees. So you know, you don't need to worry that anything is stored in the cloud or on the computer or anything like that. It's completely standalone offline. So for example, the Orcam Read, when you take a picture of the text in front of you and the device is finished reading it to you, it's gone. The picture's gone. You can't get it back. You can't see it, anything like that. You can't connect this to the internet or to a computer or a laptop or anything. So that to us is really, really important. From a security point of view, obviously, you know, I'm quite security conscious, so I'm You know, I'd always be worried where's it going to, and that kind of stuff. Whereas with this, you don't need to. And from another, I suppose, from a safety point of view, you could be anywhere. You could be in the middle of nowhere. It could be pitch black outside. It could be 11:30. You're in the middle of nowhere and you've got no internet. Your phone's maybe run out of battery. You'd still be able to use the device. So you can use it on a plane. You know, you don't need to worry about the whole put it on airplane mode or anything like that. So that's a really, really important feature that we try to express quite a bit, because I think that sometimes is a little bit of a game changer as well. I mean, you know, trying to find Wi-Fi wherever you are, or the idea is that it's, I think somebody said it before, but just keep it simple. You know, that's the best thing to do, is just keep things simple. And if you can just pull it out your bag, you can start using it straight away, then fine. They are small devices, so again, trying to set it up to internet all the time, it would be difficult. So yeah, it's a complete offline device. Now, what I'll do is come on to the Orcam Read. I'm going to talk through the features that the Orcam reads, because I don't want to confuse people here with, obviously, with spoken about the My Eye. So we'll just focus now on the Orcam Read. I'll talk through the buttons. That won't take me long because there's only 4. But we'll talk through those. We'll talk through the features, and then we'll go on to a bit of a demonstration so you can hear it. And obviously, then if you've got any questions or anything, then I'll be quiet for a bit, and you can obviously ask me the questions. So the Orcam Read. So we brought this out in March this year. As you can imagine, it was a bit of a soft launch, because obviously everybody was locked down at that point. So it was us trying to tell as many people about this product as possible. I actually managed to come and visit Andrew before lockdown, thankfully, and I managed to show him a demo of the Orcam Read. So it was nice that you managed to see it.
I've got
briefly.
one now as well. I've got one.
He has got one. Yeah, I didn't pay him to do that, I promise. So okay, so the Orcam Read. So what is it, first of all? So the Orcam Read is the first of its kind handheld device. It's a text-to-speech device, so it's primarily a reading device. So none of all those features that we just spoke about. Keep it very, very simple, okay? It's just a reading device, but it can capture an entire page of text at the click of a button and start reading back to you instantly. Okay, so I'd say it's about the length of a pen. It's about the length of a pen and about the thickness of a highlighter. So it's designed to be held like a pen. And when I talk through the features, you'll understand that it's been quite cleverly designed as well, for obviously people who are visually impaired. So at you'll notice on one side is a very flat edge, and on the flat edge of one side is where the camera is located. And just underneath the camera, there are 2 laser frames. Now, you don't see those yet. You don't see them until it's in front of a page of text. Okay, so you can't go around shining this anywhere. With that as well, there's also an LED light. So that LED light obviously is only activated when it's needed. So if you are using the device in quite a dark room, for example, so might be like a restaurant and you're wanting to look at the menu, then while the device takes the initial picture of the text in front of you, that LED illuminates at that exact same split second. So it just means the device can take the picture and the lighting's perfect. Okay, so that automatically happens. You don't need to turn anything on in order for that to happen. So along the top of the device is where all the buttons are located. All the buttons are raised, okay, so you can quickly identify the buttons, and quite cleverly, they are all different shapes and sizes for exactly that reason. So you know which one's which straight away. So the main trigger button is at the very front of the device. So that's the first one you come to, and it's a large round button. And when you hold it like a pen, your finger just quite naturally rests, depending how you hold your pen, but your finger does quite naturally rest on top of that trigger button. So that's the button that you use to take the picture of the text in front of you. So it's one button, and you just need to press it once. It'll take the picture, and then it starts reading back to you, okay? If I just move my finger further along, so past the trigger button now, there's a plus and a minus button. Now the plus and minus button are shaped like plus and minus. So again, you can identify them quite quickly. They're raised, and they are primarily used for controlling the volume. So volume up And as you press the buttons, there is a voice that will talk through this as well. So it will say, as you press the up button, the plus button, it will say volume up until it gets to the volume max, and it will say volume max, and then bring it down by pressing the minus button. So very straightforward. There is a setup menu in the Orcam Read, so you can use that plus and minus button to go through the setup menu as well. And then the final button is the on and off button. So again, further along the device, I'll move my finger from the plus and minus to the back of the device, and there's an on and off. It's a long and thin button, but it's quite separated, so it's kind of on its own. So that's how you know it's the on and off button. Simply press and hold it to switch it on, and press and hold it to switch it off. Next to that, there are 4 LED, small LED lights, which are just battery indicators. So just to help when you're using the device, if obviously as the battery decreases, then the lights will go off. So you know when it's maybe at 1 LED that you need to charge it. It will also tell you, so you don't need to rely on those at all. You can actually ask the device, tell battery status, and it'll tell you exactly what status it's at. We'll come on to that because that is a brand new feature. So that's a little bit of a sneak peek that we'll be doing. So next to the on and off button, you've got the connectivity output. So that's just to charging output. So that's just a USB. It just goes straight into the plug, and that's how you charge it. And then on the back of the device, there's a small 3mm headphone jack. So that's obviously for wired headphones. So we mentioned it before, and I think somebody wrote a comment about it, but you can connect it to headphones. You can connect it to wired headphones. So when the device, if you don't want it reading aloud, as in if you're not on your own and you're on a train, for example, pop your headphones in and no one else can listen to what you're listening to. So complete privacy as well. So
glad you've included that. We've had many conversations on here about Samsung and Apple and all the mobile phone makers taking away the headphone jacks. You've left yours in, so that's very nice, very considerate.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I don't have a pair of Bluetooth headphones, so I think it's a great idea to keep it in. While we're on that, you can connect the device to Bluetooth. Okay, so if you are a bit fancier than me and you've got your Bluetooth headphones, then by all means you can connect it to Bluetooth headphones. They don't need to be wired at all, just whatever you've got. With Bluetooth as well, a lot of people have maybe Google Homes now around the house, or Alexas. You can connect it to a speaker. So if you're doing, let's say for example, you're with the kids and you're doing some cooking, like we'll be doing in a minute, then what you might want to do is connect it to a speaker, so that when you go to read the recipe, not only does it read from the device, but it actually reads from a louder speaker, so everybody in the kitchen can hear, so everyone knows what they're doing. Very simple to connect to Bluetooth, very similar with how you do it with your phone. Enter the setup menu, you go to connectivity, make sure your Bluetooth device is switched on, and it'll search for devices, and you just click which one you want to pair it with. So very, very straightforward, but just a nice little, like you said, if you've got the Apple AirPods, for example, then by all means you can connect it. With that, the only thing I would say with the Apple AirPods is you do just need to make sure that they are disconnected from a phone before you connect them to here, because that is one thing, and this is just from feedback from people that have maybe got the device and using it, that it won't find it if they're connected to something else. So just a little bit of a heads up. And that's really the Orcam Read. That's essentially it. Now, I mentioned there about the 2 different reading modes. So I said that there's 2 different lasers at the front. And this is just depending which one fits better for you, which one, obviously, depending what you're reading, it might be depending which one you use. So I'll talk through both of them first, so you've got a bit of an understanding. So then when I come to do the demonstration, hopefully that kind of all makes sense and ties in, rather than trying to explain it and then sort of demo it. Yeah, so we'll keep it simple. So the first reading mode I'm going to talk about is the laser frame. So what you need to do is you hold your device like a pen, like we suggested before, and you can rest your finger on that trigger button. Pop a piece of text up in front of you, whatever that might be, a newspaper, a book, a recipe, whatever. And you simply press and hold the trigger button at the front of the device. Now the laser frame, you will see 4 corners of a laser frame appear on the text. Okay, now the laser frame is quite bright, okay. What you need to do, the device is designed to pick up anything inside that frame. So the idea being, if you want to gather a large piece of text, simply move the device further away, the frame gets bigger, and obviously the device picks up a lot more inside that frame. If you want to home in on a specific part of a text, so for example here it might be the method, it might be the ingredients, move the device closer to the page of text, the frame gets smaller and it captures just what's inside. Okay, now we've tried this as well, and I know people might say, well, what happens if we can't see the laser? It's very, very intuitive, the device, and it's because it is so simple, you can very quickly get to grips with the distance that it needs to be in order to pick up a size of text. So if you've got an A4 page in front of you, you know that the device might have to be, instead of it being maybe 30 centimeters away, just pull it up a little bit further, take it that little bit further away, and you know then that it will capture that whole page. Okay, all our devices do take time to get used to. Of course they do. It's technology that perhaps we're not used to, we've never used before, but they are also, because they are very simple to use, I can say that you very, very quickly get used to them.
I think I managed to get a whole A3 piece of newspaper when I first tried it. I think when you brought it, because I was, remember, I was very skeptical about it as well when you first met me, and I was kind of like, well, I don't know how this is going to work for people that are completely blind, and I did the kind of the blindfold test. I mean, even though I'm visually impaired, but I closed my eyes and just tried to try to position it in the right place, and after a couple of times, I managed to get the whole page. So it certainly can be done, but obviously the laser is designed for people who have got vision or low vision, so that it's just another way of them being able to pinpoint, more accurately what's on the page. But I think if you're completely blind, you might not be, you probably can't pinpoint where you want it to read from, but if you want to get the whole page, you're not really going to have an issue with doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mentioned before that we've got a gentleman that works for Orcam based in Scotland. So Ian works for Orcam. Ian is completely blind, and he uses this every single day. And when he uses it every single day, similar to what Andrew was saying, you know how to get that particular page in. Now, just coming on to that, so if, for example, you were finding the whole page and the device starts designed to read from left to right, just normally, and it keeps reading, and you want to get to a specific part of the text, what you can do when the device is actually talking, by pressing the plus button when he or she is speaking, depending which voice you choose, you can actually press the plus button and it skips through the text. So just like we would, skip lines that we're not bothered and we want to get to the main point, you can do the same on here. So if you continue to press that plus button, the device will skip a couple of words, and the more you skip it, obviously the quicker you get to the point that you want to. So you don't have to sit there and listen to it reading the whole thing. That perhaps if you're up to the method, for example, I'm coming back to my recipe, when it's reading the ingredients, just keep pressing the plus button and it'll just skip through it very quickly.
Cool.
Okay. The other option, so the other reading mode is a laser cursor. So similar to obviously what you get on a computer or a laptop, and this then appears on the text. And this is just for if you want to start reading from a particular part. So again, you press and hold the trigger button. You'll see the cursor appear on the page. Simply position it to where you want it to be and where you want the device to start reading from. When you're happy with the position, just let go of the trigger button and it starts reading to you as well. So we'll go through both just so you can get an idea, and more that you can hear the device speaking as well. You can quite easily change between the two. All you need to do is press the plus and minus button simultaneously at the same time together, and you go from the laser to the cursor. So very, very straightforward. You can pause the device. So if the device is reading a large book, for example, you've just brewed up, the kettle's boiled, so you just want to go and finish off making the teas, simply double tap the trigger button when he or she is talking, and you'll hear just a frequent beep. So every couple of seconds it'll just beep, just to let you know that the device is paused in its tracks. When you're ready for it to continue where it's set off, double click it again and it starts again from where you left off. Okay, so that's the main features of the device. I'm just trying to see if I've forgotten anything.
I think you covered a lot there.
I just quickly mentioned before we spoke about the menu. So it's a very simple device. The menu is also very simple. There are a couple of things you can do in the menu. So I mentioned it then, you can change from a male to a female voice and vice versa. You can increase the reading rate that they are talking. So if you're somebody who's quite busy or constantly on the go, then by all means increase the reading rate and decrease it. And that's how you connect it to Bluetooth as well. So very, very straightforward. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just quickly use it just on the two different modes, just to give you an idea. I just want to make sure that you can hear the device talking as well. And I just want you to see how clear it is, and obviously the accuracy of it as well. So just bear with me, mine's just going into standby, so I'm just going to turn it back on.
Waking up. 2%
Can you hear that, Andrew?
Just press the buttons on it again. Not quite. I think I can hear it then. Could hear it then.
Volume max.
There you go. Yeah.
Volume max.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my piece of text just in front of me. I'm going to say about 40 centimeters away. So just so you can see it there. Right, so about 40 centimeters away, and I'm going to position. So today we're looking at the very best chocolate fudge cake. I haven't made this one yet before anybody asks. So first thing I'm going to do is position the text in front of it and point the device towards the piece of text. I'm going to press the trigger button once, okay, and 4 corners of a laser frame appears on the text in front of me. Now you'll notice after a second, if you don't release that trigger button in time, it just goes off. And that's more a safety thing for the laser. Obviously we can't have the laser on all the time, just from a safety point of view. It is a class 1 laser, which means it is safe, but please don't go shining it in anybody's eyes or up towards aeroplanes or anything like that. Obviously that's not permitted. So yeah, the first one I'm just going to show you is I'm just going to take a snapshot of the whole page and I'm just going to let the device read. I'll pop the device towards the microphone just so you can hear it reading. So once I'm happy with the position of the frame, I'm going to release the trigger button and it's just going to continue reading to me. Let's try that.
Very best chocolate fudge cake. This will become your favorite chocolate cake recipe. It is the best. It is speedy to make and the easy filling doubles as an icing. The cake is moist and has a
Oh, can't quite hear that. Just pull that up a little bit.
No? Let's try that again. Did you hear some of that?
Oh yeah, I heard some of that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So because I captured the entire page, then that would just continue reading the whole page to me until I stopped it. And just to stop it, you press the trigger button once and it just stops in its tracks. Now, if you stop it, obviously in order to start it again, you need to retake the picture. So as soon as you release the trigger button, you can hear a camera taking a picture. It's and that's exactly what the device is doing. It's taking a picture of the page and it's just reading exactly what's on the picture back to you. What that means is that because it's taken that initial picture, you can shut the book. You can walk away. You can be doing something else while the device is still reading, and it will continue to read the whole picture. But you can go off and do something else if you need to. So you don't have to sit there and you don't have to say go along with the page or anything like that. So it's quite good for, like you said, everyone at the minute has got a few things going on. So let's try that again. So this time I'm going to take the picture, I'm going to let it read to me, and then I'm going to shut the book just so you can see. Okay. So.
very best chocolate fudge cake. It's easy to make and the easy filling
I can hear
double.
that now, yeah.
Cake is moist and has a grown-up chocolate flavor. 50 grams, 2 ounces. Sifted cocoa powder, 6 tablespoons.
Right, and I've just stopped it there just so unless you want the recipe, in which case I can send it. But essentially what would happen there, it would read from left to right. So on the page, you've got the little introduction at the top, then I had my ingredients down the left, and then my method on the right. So it read the top bit about the chocolate cake, and it went on to read my ingredients. So that's the first mode. The second one is the cursor. So again, just quickly. So this time I'm doing a wholemeal ginger cake. And instead of going from the top of the page this time, I want it to start from number 2. So I want it to start from method number 2 here, instead of obviously everything else. I've got my ingredients ready and I'm ready to start. So this time all I've done is press the plus and the minus button together. And now what I've got on my page is, instead of a frame, I've now got a cursor that's on the page in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to position it at number 2.
Fan 140 degrees Celsius / gas 3. Grease a 30 by 23 centimeters, 12 by 9 and trap bake or roasting tin, then line the base with baking parchment. 2.
Okay. Did you hear that okay?
Yeah, heard that.
Yeah.
Heard that okay. Yeah.
Great stuff. So that's the cursor mode. So that's just, you can obviously position that on the page from where you want it to. Now, it's designed to read printed and digital. So if you've got anything on a computer screen or on a mobile phone, it will read it. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't read handwriting, unless your handwriting is very, very, very neat. But unfortunately, it won't read handwriting. It may mistake it for a different language, basically. But don't be insulted. It's not designed to, and none of our products are designed to read handwriting or anything like that.
We've got a question that's come in, and I know this is kind of it's not just with Orcam, but it's with quite a lot of text-to-speech devices. How does it get on with reading like rows and columns and things like that, bank statements and menus and things, because that can be quite tricky with text-to-speech. How does it get on with those types of things?
So it's designed to read from left to right. So if you've got a table in front of you, what it won't do, unfortunately, is go along each row. So where you might want it to go along each one, and there might be a total each one or something like that. It will actually go down the columns. So it will go down the left-hand column, then onto the next one, then onto the next one. Now, what I am going to tell you about now is something that they are currently working on in the R&D team in Israel. And that is something called smart reading. So whereby now you've got the 2 different reading modes, and you position it where you want to and it starts reading to you. The idea with smart reading is that you tell the device what you want it to read.
Okay.
And you activate this using a vocal command. So all you do is, and this is something that isn't out in the UK yet, so I can't even demonstrate this because I don't have it on this device, is you double click the trigger button and you enter a vocal command. So you would say smart reading. The device will then take a picture of the text in front of you. So say you've got a bank statement in front of you, or a bill or something like that. It'll take a picture of the bill. Now it's got that picture stored. You would then say to the device, read the name. It would then read the name to you. You would say, read the amount, and it would read the amount to you. You would say, read the phone number, and it would read the phone number to you. The best example I've got of this is being in a restaurant and saying to it, read the desserts. So rather than trying, just because I love desserts, as you can tell, but with the device, it's just a way that you can talk to the device as well. So rather than the device just talking to you, you can find on a page exactly what you want to find.
Yeah.
Now, we tested this for a week. It got put onto our devices for a week, and we tested it. It wasn't quite there yet, hence why it's back with R&D. But what it did do was fantastic, and that is the artificial intelligence in this one. So I said to it, I had a bill in front of me, and I said, read the phone number, and it said 2 phone numbers identified. One was an 0800 number and one a 033 number. And it read those both out to me. And I had, let's say, 2 amounts on there, and it recognises the amounts by the pound sign. So it recognises that there's a pound sign in front of them. And I said, read the amounts. And it read total amount and then sort of subtotal or whatever it might be. So that is a new feature that's coming to the Orcam Read. Now, we don't know how that's going to come into the UK. It is something we're trialing over in the US at the moment. So unfortunately, I don't have timescales for you. But it's something, there's a little bit of information on it on our website and things like that. But it is it's when it comes out, and it comes out as well as, you know, and it's accurate and it's reads it perfectly, then it will again just be another step in the technology, another way to kind of keep on board with all the technology that's.
And is that confirmed to be something that they'll bring out onto the Read as an update, or will that, do you think that might be another product?
To be honest with you, it's more than likely going to be a separate product entirely. And the reason for that is, and we keep coming back to it, but a lot of people just keep it simple. So rather than having a simple product to start with and then you start adding all these features, similar to what we've got, you know, we've got a My Reader, for example, and then we've got a My Eye with additional features. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking at. We keep the Read quite basic. We keep the Read as it is now, where you've got the reading functions, but then there's another option whereby obviously you've got the smart reading included as well. So it's more than likely not going to be an update and potentially obviously a new product. Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, if it's something that you guys are considering, then it's kind of like watch this space, isn't it? Really, it doesn't sound like it's not too far away.
It's not too far away. Obviously everything's been delayed with obviously what's been going on. Israel were locked down, similar to us, so a lot of the R&D team, you know, weren't able to work for a lot of the time. As you know, Andrew, we were sort of waiting for the LED update and stuff. So, as you can imagine, there's been a you know, times when we perhaps would have preferred to be a little bit further on than we are. But yeah, it's something that's a watch this space. Yeah, it will be coming into the UK, but yeah, as soon as we've got sort of any more information, then obviously you guys will be the first to know.
Well, we look forward to that. And then tell us, so that's the Read, which has just been launched. Was that in April? Was it?
March.
Was it in March? Was it? Was it in March? Was it? So that was that. And what's the rough price of the Read if people are interested in purchasing one?
The price of this one is 1,800, and as I say, that's just simply because of the technology that's included in it. Now, we mentioned it before, so it's designed for anybody that's blind, for visually impaired, but also for people with reading fatigue as well. And it seems to be very popular within the dyslexia market as well. That's something, you know, that's new to Orcam. Obviously, as people know, we are specifically, you know, we work with visually impaired and blind, so that's a completely new market, but it's quite versatile, and it's anybody with reading fatigue.
There's actually a lot of crossover with technology for visual impairment and also people with, you know, say reading impairments as well. There's a bit of a crossover there, a natural crossover really, where we can use, you know, people with reading impairments can make use of the audio side of things. So it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and then
of course.
Tell us a little bit about some of the more kind of, there's some more kind of commercial products coming into play, like the new facial recognition device which you brought out, and there's also something that you're developing for hearing loss as well.
There is, yes. So there's a couple of things that I can kind of share with you. So the first one is it's called a My Me. And it's a small device that actually, it's not on the glasses, it's not handheld, it actually attaches to an item of clothing. So you'd attach it to your shirt or a jacket, and it's exactly that. It's a recognition device. So similar to what we mentioned before, you can program people into the device, and the minute you see them, it will tell you who's there. So same kind of features, you'd be able to connect it to you know, headphones, all that kind of stuff, but that's a very, very exciting product that's on the horizon. I mentioned it very briefly at the beginning. We went to CES this year, which is a massive sort of convention. I didn't go, but the company went to, and it's over in Las Vegas, and it's a massive technology innovation, and we actually took a pilot of that there. So
that's
you might
CES,
CES, that's it. Sorry, yes, CES.
Did you go as well?
No.
Oh, you didn't go? Oh,
I didn't, unfortunately.
Las Vegas.
No. I know. No, I didn't. So we actually launched like a pilot one there. Obviously, given, I mentioned it before, but given COVID situation, there's actually a couple of features that we've got much closer on the horizon, which I'll explain in a moment. So you've got the Mind Me, and as Andrew mentioned, then there is also the Orcam Here, which is a device which actually connects to hearing aids. So we're actually in the process of linking up with, you know, hearing aid companies, because it's not a hearing aid, so we need to connect to people that have got a hearing impairment and already have
Compatibility side of things.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
So that's where we're up to with that one. But similar kind of context, again, artificial intelligence, and we also took sort of a pilot one to the CES. There's a few articles online as well about the Orcam Here. So if you want to find out, that it's difficult to release too much information because we've only got that one. Obviously, you can go back to R&D, and I'll be honest, things can change. You know, they might take the features out, they might add new features. So what I don't want to do is promise that there'll be a feature on it that they might decide to then change. But I think for Orcam, it just shows that we are constantly, you know, looking into new avenues and helping more people. And so the other thing I want to explain is there's a couple of features that you may have seen on our website. So again, smart reading, and this is also going to be coming in on the wearable device as well. So exactly the same idea, whereby you can talk to the device. Not only can the device talk to you. So similar context, you've got a menu in front of you, and you would say to the device, find the desserts, and it will take you straight to the desserts, and it would say desserts, and then it would continue to read the desserts with obviously the prices.
I think what really interested me was with the My Me was the market that was going to get pointed towards. Like, for example, if you're a businessman and you want to remember those, that was Johnny bought a car off me last year. You want to remember that because you might give him a cake or treat him extra special. I don't know, or you might bake him a cake. I don't know.
No.
and the device tells you that's Johnny bought the Land Rover off you last year, and that I think even as a visually impaired person, that's more of a mainstream product, I think. But I think still it will still appeal to visually impaired people as well. That just for that feature alone of the facial recognition. So I'm excited about that particular product.
Yeah, of course. And it's a similar, so obviously the facial recognition on the My at the moment can store up to 150 faces. I don't know 150 people that you would store into an Orcam device. So it just allows you for exactly that. You know, it doesn't necessarily, you're not restricted to 10 people. You're not restricted to just family and friends. I mentioned it before. So I remember a particular example. A lady was looking into a My Eye for her elderly mum, and she lives on her own. She's got a visual impairment. So the first thing they did was they put the postman into it. They put their Amazon driver, the guy that obviously comes every single day with packages or whoever it might be. They put the milkman.
Sounds like our house, the Amazon driver. Yeah. We know our Amazon driver all the time.
Exactly.
Here.
Yeah, and Ian does the same. So Ian does exactly the same, and he makes sure when he opens the door, and the first thing it does is it tells them, because when you program those people into the device, they're actually stood in front of you, and we say about 30 seconds, and we ask that person to move the head left and right, up and down. So when the device looks at them again, it actually registers them from all different angles. Yeah. So you don't have to be looking at somebody full on. You could be from the side, and you could straight away recognize them. So yeah, the like we mentioned, the My Me it's an exciting. Apologies, I can't explain more on that, but as you can imagine, it's a lot of top secret.
No, yeah. I think some people may have seen the reveals in CES and stuff like that. Which I'd seen as well. But yeah, looks like a great product that I think I would definitely consider buying for myself, just as a facial recognition product. And it's nice that you can, if you don't want the read and you don't want all the other things, you just want facial recognition, then there's a product there that you can go for. I feel like the way that it kind of shown it working with your iPhone and even your Apple Watch as well, which I thought was quite cool as well.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting, but brilliant. I think me and you've been talking probably long enough.
I'm sorry.
No. I think it's been brilliant. It's been really good. I think we'll unmute everyone. We'll open up to the floor, and if anybody's got any particular questions that they want to ask to Lauren about what she's talked about today, then do go for it. So we'll open the floor up to everyone. You may get asked if you wish to unmute. There we go. So we can hear everyone now. So has anyone got a question that they want to ask?
Yes, it's David Evans here.
Hiya, David. Go for it, David.
Yeah, I'm really just a quick inquiry and clarification about the one for deaf users, because I'm visually impaired and I'm also hearing impaired.
Right.
Not that I need Orcam, the one that blind people use. I'm looking at the one for those who are deaf. Did you say that's just a one-piece system? Because I've seen listeners for the deaf that are two-piece, so you can leave a place and leave one app on the table by mistake.
Right. Okay. So
There are listening devices where you can go to a meeting, you might wear something, but the person you're listening to might have another app, and it might be on the table or in the hands of the other person, and you could leave an event and leave half of it behind.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
I see what you mean. Not that I know of. So the Orcam here, which is the one that obviously you're relating to there. So the way that works is it's similar to the Maya at the moment. So it will register a piece of text or a person. But if you've got if you've got a hearing impairment, the idea is it not only registers that, but it connects to your if you wear hearing aids, for example.
Yeah,
so it connects to that.
Yeah.
But not that I know of whereby it comes in two parts and you can leave it. It's more than likely just going to be sort of one device that it does both. So it will capture the text, but when it reads it back to you, obviously it will go through kind of your hearing aid so that you can hear it much more clearly. So that's my impression. I'll be honest.
I thought that when I heard it, I just wanted, because that's actually an advantage, because the last thing you'd want to do is leave part of an expensive device behind inadvertently.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one less thing to worry about as well. I mean, that's what we say with the devices that we've got. We always include lanyards with every device that we have, because they are so small, and you can shut the book on them and then you can't find them. So we always recommend, even when you're wearing them, when you're using them, the lanyard that comes with this device is actually really long, so you can continue to use it. So
because I'm just from what I have heard, and I mean the proof of the pudding will come out when we get a sample to try in future. I've just heard that it's sort of the holy grail, if you like, but it with background noise in, say, places like Ruby Sunshine. When you've got other people chattering, and you just focus somebody fairly near to you or opposite you.
That's exactly what it's designed to do. Yeah, and that's the compatibility that obviously the guys are working on at the moment, because it's being able to hear the Orcam speaking, and exactly that, cancelling out anything else that's going on in the background, so any like background noise. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, if you do hear other people's conversation, and not only is it a distraction, you don't really want to hear what somebody's saying.
No.
No.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Thanks, David.
On the other side of a restaurant,
Yeah.
And it's Jamal.
Sometimes you do want to hear what other people are saying, though. That's the problem. Go on, Jamal. If you got a question.
I just wanted to double check. Do that smart reading feature? Will you come to both the Orcam My Eye and also the Orcam Read as well? Is that correct?
It will be, yeah. It won't be available as an update. It's looking like it will be a brand new product. But yeah, it will become available on both devices, so the wearable and the handheld. Yeah.
All right, thanks. That's fine. That's perfect.
Okay. Okie dokie. Has anybody else got a question for
Yeah,
Lauren?
I've got a question.
Okay, who's that?
Bharti,
Okay, go for it.
you said this language, does it do Gujarati? Do you know?
So yeah, well, we support over 25 different languages. It would be a special request, but that's fine, providing that the Orcam can do it, which I'd need to check on my list here. But yeah, providing that we can, all we do is just get a special request done, and it comes over from head office. It comes direct from Israel. So yeah, I can check this after, and I can obviously let Andrew know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We can
No
let you
problem.
know. Yeah. Good question, that one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Have we got any more? Has anybody got a question?
Hello, my name's Keith. Does it read banknotes?
Sorry, say that again. Was it Keith?
Yeah, does it read money, like banknotes, coins?
So it reads banknotes. Yeah. So if you took a picture of, so hang on, I think we're getting a little bit confused there. So this device doesn't. So the Orcam Read doesn't, because it's primarily just a reading device. But the My Eye, the one that attaches onto the glasses, that one does read banknotes. Yeah, but it doesn't read coins. No coins, unfortunately, but just a 5, 10 or a 20 banknote. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think there's any technology at the moment that does coins. It's been one of my things, really, to find something that does coins, but there isn't anything yet. Hopefully that's something they can work on, because not that I've not been able to go on holiday anywhere, but Euro coins, for visually impaired people, they're so difficult to recognise, because they're all just all circular. There's not much of a difference to any of them. So we definitely need coin. There's one to take back to the R&D team.
I will.
Coin recognition.
I'll make a note of that one.
Thanks for the question.
American here. I have a question.
Yeah.
It's Tracy.
Hiya, Tracy.
Hello. You mentioned about banknotes. Is it only banknotes in this country, or do they read other denominations for other countries, like euros or dollars, for example?
So the English device, so if it's an English default device, so we're talking about the My Eye here,
Yeah.
If it's an English device, it will only recognise pounds, it will only recognise UK. However, if you wanted a different device, what you can always do is essentially get if you wanted it to read euros, you could get the French default device, which has English as an additional language, and that one is set up to read euros.
But you wouldn't have one that was, say, defaulted to English with the additional other notes that you could add on?
We can't, unfortunately, no. All the devices can only read sort of one currency. Yeah, so the languages we can have 3 languages per device, but currency is only one. But that again, that's a great piece of feedback that I can use.
Because I mean, people do go on holiday, and I think it would be a very useful thing if you do, say, the major denominations like euros, US dollars, possibly Australian and New Zealand dollars.
Yeah.
But you know, you probably need to sort of do a lot. But I mean, it probably wouldn't take much to program in the additional ones.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what I was just going to say. I mean, I'll speak with obviously our R&D team, but because we will already have those set up somewhere, because they will be in the US device or they'll be in the French device, you know, for example, or Spanish, then yeah, absolutely, it shouldn't be an issue. So I'll leave that with me.
But I mean, you could actually do that for all of them, all of the default devices, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah. No,
excellent.
Julie speaking here.
Go for it, Julie.
Well,
Even if that, excuse me, sorry, even if that was pressed as an add-on device, could you not even have that as an extra language, so that if someone was giving you a print, even if the menu was in, say, French or Italian, that it would read that, even if you could sort of have that as an extra add-on?
So
it does read for the extra add-ons.
Mm-hmm. So the Orcam My Eye does read different languages. So the Orcam My Eye has it's an English default device, if that's what you wanted, and then the additional language are French and Spanish. So when it doesn't translate, but if it sees a piece of French text, for example, it will read it in French, and it will be, you know, correct in French, if you like. But I suppose you've got to know French in order to understand.
That's right. But could it not be so that it translates the English or the French or the Spanish?
It's not a translation device. It is something that we've had before, absolutely, and it would be absolutely fantastic, you know, when you go on holiday and you get given the wrong menu and you can't understand it. It would be amazing.
That's why your waiter would come in, Julie. You'd have your waiter.
Yeah,
could be something perhaps that could be thought about it, because your phone can do it. So perhaps it could be built into it in the future, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Something
these
for
are
the
all,
future.
yeah, these are all great points that absolutely, I mean, it's, yeah, the R&D team, they do take things on board. I mean, Andrew's got an example of this. He asked me to, there was a piece of feedback that you had last week, and within a day we changed it, and you know, it was different. So there is ways that, yeah, we can do it. So no, thank you for the feedback. Good.
All royalties to Galloway's, please.
I think one good point to make is as well that, you know, when all these different features that we're talking about, you've got to remember that the device has got to do it on the fly, offline. And a lot of these things that we can do with our phones, we generally need the internet for when we're doing them, you know. So there's that to consider as well. But I mean, going forward, it sounds like, you know, all these things will be considered in the future, and there's a lot of development going on for sure. So it's great to, and thanks for answering them questions. They're tricky questions.
Andrew, that's really speaking. That's a male logic. Us females just think, oh, just do it. That's a female thinking.
We're not getting on this multitasking thing again.
I can knock that wall down. Never mind supporting it, just knock the wall down. That's female.
Jeff's put his hand up.
Who wants to ask a question?
Jeff's got his hand up.
Again.
Who's me?
Sorry.
Oh, Mosey. Is it Mosey?
Yeah.
Go on, Mosey. Go for it.
Right.
Just wanted to know, when it's either the My Eye or the pen reader, does it depend on the background colour of the text? So, for example, like black text on white, or lots of menus and such are different colours. Does that make a difference to it reading the text?
No, great question. But no, not at all. Not at all. It doesn't matter. It will just pick up text whatever it's on. So for example, you can use it. So the Orcam Read is great to be using in a supermarket. So you pick a product up, you simply point it towards a product and it'll tell you what it is. Products are on all sorts of different colour backgrounds, aren't they? You know, cereal boxes, there's loads going on, pictures, all sorts. It doesn't matter about the colour or anything. So absolutely not. You can use it on any background. It will just obviously snapshot the whole page. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. That's great.
No problem.
Good question.
I have another question, Barty.
Go on, Barty.
When I go to shopping for clothes, I can't see the size and the price of it. So will that do it for me?
Yeah, so if you use the Orcam Read, for example, you could just point the device towards the label and it'll read any text that's on the label. So if you've got the little white label that's sometimes attached to the collar, isn't it? And it will say whatever size, and then it'll say obviously underneath. Sometimes it's got prices in different. It's got euros, hasn't it? And then it's got pounds right at the end. So yeah, just point the device towards it and it'll read anything like that, any kind of labels. Yeah.
Brilliant. Jeff's got his hand up for a question. Jeff Swan.
Yeah. You've been talking about the My Eye.
Yeah.
Are you referring to the My Eye too?
Yes, I am. Sorry. Yes. Should have made that clear. Yeah. So the My Eye, we came out with the version 1, the 1.5, and then now we're at the 2. So yeah, when I talk about the My Eye, it's the 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Brilliant. That's great. I think we'll take
Andrew,
a few.
there's 2 other people. So Debbie's got her hand up.
Yeah, go on, Debbie. Go for it.
Hi, yeah. I was just wondering what it's like at reading computer screens. I have to use a shared computer at work that doesn't have any software on it.
Right.
So would it help me? The My Eye maybe help me in that situation.
Great question. It's a great question.
Yeah, of course. The device is designed for printed or digital. So absolutely. If you're in front of a computer screen, there are a couple of ways you could do it. So we mentioned on the My Eye that there's 3 different reading modes. So you've got automatic, whereby as soon as it's in front of you, it will start reading. But if you've got a computer screen whereby sometimes you've got tabs along the top, you've got the URL, that sometimes doesn't really work. So I would either use the manual mode, whereby you simply tap it and it'll start reading whatever is in front of you.
Right.
Or if you can use the gesture mode, then absolutely that works perfectly. So otherwise it will read everything on the page, but
Yeah.
it will read it perfectly. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. It's a chart that I have to read.
Right.
So if I point on the different sections, will it read to me what is in that section?
Of course it will. Yeah, it'll point
Right,
exactly
okay.
where your finger is. Yeah.
Right.
Or the other
okay,
option.
great.
So that's the My Eye, and the option
Yeah.
on the Orcam Read would be to use the laser cursor,
Right.
because you can point the
Yeah.
laser cursor
Yeah.
wherever you want it to read, and then obviously it will read that back to you. So a couple of different options, but computer screens is fine. Sometimes it picks those up better.
Might be an access to work, request maybe of
Yeah.
next time you
Yeah.
get
So
funding.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention
Yeah,
there as
give
well.
it the
That's a really
price
good
of
point.
it, you know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I say, given the price of it, it'd be an access to work thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an approved product on Access to Work and DSA, so it is available through both channels. So we
Right.
got that was obviously yeah, that seems quite popular.
Excellent. Okay, we got a
Can I ask
question.
one more question? Sorry.
go
can
on,
I just,
yeah.
The face recognition, how far away does the person have to be? Or can the person be?
So we usually say within sort of 5 meters, it will pick them up.
Right, okay.
So when you're
So when
you're
there's
putting
an
somebody
idiot
in,
waving at me from the other side of the road.
sorry, say that again.
So when there's somebody waving at me from the other side of the road.
Depend. Yeah, depend.
It's a narrow road. So it's a narrow road.
Oh yeah, fine.
Yeah.
And hopefully, obviously, if when they've been put into the device, you know, if they've turned their head up and down, then it will recognise them from all different angles. So yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
No problem.
We've got a question. We've got quite a lot of questions coming in here. We've got Lindsay would like to ask a question.
Hi, I just wanted to know how much the My Eye one is, please.
Of course. So the My Eye, so that's the one with the reading. It's got facial recognition, colour, barcode, and product recognition. So that one retails at 3,500 for those, and then obviously you've got the Orcam Read at 1,800.
Thank you.
Okay. Okie dokie.
Both available through Access to Work and DSA. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's great.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Have we got any more questions for? Maybe we'll take one more for Lauren, because we kept her a long time. I appreciate, Lauren, your time.
It's flown, hasn't it?
You had some tricky questions, like, but you've done. It's been really good. We got one more question for Lauren.
Yeah, are you not having problems selling this device in Israel itself, given that it's divided, you know, with the Palestinian side and the Israeli side? Are you just only being able to sell it in Israel itself?
No, not necessarily. I mean, Israel isn't obviously one of the bigger territories anyway for us. That's mainly the R&D team there. So obviously people are fully aware of it in Israel, because obviously it's quite a big company over there. But it's not as big as, you know, obviously a US market or the Germany funded market, for example. But no, I don't think that's ever really been a problem, but good question.
Right, because I've been into the West Bank and I've seen, you know, and I've seen and know about the political and economic and religious situations out there. Yeah. And I just thought, oh, they'll not be able to sell it in the West Bank in particular. You might be all right on the Jewish side, Tel Aviv, Haifa and Jerusalem, but, you know.
Yeah. I'm hoping one day I'll be able to go and visit.
Yeah, I've spoken to a couple of Orcam colleagues, some of your colleagues from Orcam who've been over and been over to Jerusalem as well, and they've had a good experience going over and seeing the team and the technology. So it's fantastic, Lauren. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's been really great. And just want to
ask Lauren. It's Brian.
Go on, Brian.
How long does the charge last when you charge it?
Good question. I knew there was something I'd forgotten. Okay, so on the Orcam Read, if you're using it constantly, so if you're using it cover to cover, reading a book or a magazine, you're looking at around about 3 hours in total. But it's actually got the fastest charging battery, or one of the fastest charging batteries. So it charges in full in under an hour. You can also connect it to a plug, and you can continue using it while it's charging. So no excuses not to.
We'll also
and similarly
charge with one of them USB, little USB memory, chargers you can charge up, take around with.
Of course you can. Yeah, like a portable charger. But if you're using it quite intermittently, so if you're using it here and there, and you might be reading something on the train, and then you might get off and go for a walk or something, it will last up to all day if it's intermittently. So if it's how I've sort of used it today, and then I might have another go later, then I won't need to charge it until tonight. And then similar to a phone, stick it on charge and be fine the next morning.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. I was going to say, actually, it is, Orcam is a particular device for a particular user, for someone that has got a particular use for it. And certainly if you're like a hardcore reader and you want that experience with a book, turning the page and reading one page after the other, it's a great experience, and actually a much more enjoyable experience than using, seeing AI or Envision AI or an app on your phone, because it just feels more natural using an Orcam device. So it all depends on the user, I think, and I think that's what you guys have to look at as well and consider, that how you're going to use an Orcam. You're going to use it a lot. For me, it's a great device to have with a book, and I've enjoyed using Orcam My i2 or even the My Reader, with a book, because it's just point click and it's so quick as well. And that's my outlook on it. And there's no lie about it. These are expensive devices, but they also are very good as well. And you've got to try them as well, to know whether it's going to be the right device for you. So normally at Galloway's, you can come and try Orcam, because we have Orcam, my i2. We've got the Read as well. You can come and try that at Galloway's. What about if people want to try it within COVID, or they're interested about purchasing it? We can definitely put them towards Vision Aid, can't we? Who can go out and,
of course we can. Yeah.
give them a demo.
Of course, yeah. So Vision Aid can provide. So if you're interested or you wanted some more information, Vision Aid can provide demonstrations.
Yeah, brilliant.
They'll actually come out to your home and they'll do one-to-one demonstrations, so you can try it. They do also have something at the moment which we're trialing, which is like an evaluation program, whereby you can actually, I think there's a couple of things they've got to check, but you can actually be sent out a device and you can try it for sort of 7 days and see what your thoughts are on it. So yeah, if you've got any more information, or you do want a one-to-one demonstration to make sure it does everything that I've told you it does, then by all means, you can get in touch with Andrew or myself, and we can pop you in the right direction. No problem.
Yeah, we can put you in touch with Vision Aid, which is visionaid.co.uk. And actually, funnily enough, they are our guests next week on Tech Talk 3.
It's a small world.
We've lined it up pretty well, so that's good. And if anyone's got any questions, you can contact myself by email, which is Talking Tech, so TALKING TECH, Talking Tech @galloways.org.uk. And if you've got any questions or you want more advice about the Orcam, then you can do that as well. But Lauren, thanks very much for joining us today. It's been great.
No problem. No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody for tuning in and listening.